students, and then we'll come back to Coach's questions. Coach?
Just couldn't be more proud of our team. We beat a tremendous team today. Incredibly well-coached team. They fought. Trace is a handful. They kept coming, but so did we. I remember about 4 minutes to go, we're down 5, and I just felt like in the huddle that these guys kept believing, and that's what they had to do. We were right there, put ourselves in a position to be right there against a team that's really good, playing really well. Their stars playing well, but we continuously get great play off the bench from a lot of different people, and it's an incredibly unselfish group, an incredibly fun team to coach.
Take questions for the students. We'll start with Julian on the far right corner.
Jordan, this is for you. I've been with you, been with your brothers and everything. How many times have you had that moment in the backyard, taking a shot like you took tonight, and who were you when you took that shot?
And I can't even put into words, the amount of times I was throwing up those kinds of shots in the backyard with my brothers. I could never get in the paint because, they would just foul me so much. I just had to shoot those shots. So in a way, they kind of prepared me to, be a deep range shooter and shoot the ball well from, that kind of distance. So, you got to give credit to Indiana. They did a phenomenal job, taking away our original play. But Connor did a great job in fighting me. And, I just try to do what I've always done, be confident in late game situations. And, just got to give credit to Keegan because I got a lot of open threes at the end of the game because of him. They put so much attention around him. I was able to get open for a couple of shots. And when I see a couple go in, it starts getting a little fun. I'm me. Nothing's changed. I'm the same person as I was as a freshman. I've had my ups and downs, but the guy 2 seats down from me, Coach McCaffery, is one of the few coaches that believed in me coming out of high school. And without him, I don't know who I would be. I've tried to do everything I can to represent this university as well as I could. And without him, I honestly don't know where I'd be. So I would just try to make the most of this opportunity he's given me.
Right-hand side, third row.
Brian Teague, Chicago State of Mind Sports. This question is for Keegan. Keegan, could you talk to us about your mindset after Jordan hit that big three? Because I saw you kind of getting the team back together and getting everything kind of settled down a bit.
Yeah, for me, he hit a big shot, obviously, but there's still time on the clock, and you've seen crazy things happen in March. So I didn't want our team to get too high, that we hit a three, but there's still time to get a shot up. So I just wanted them to lock back in on defense, make sure that they didn't get a clean look. We stuck to the game plan to guard their last final possession. So that's what I was trying to do for our team.
In the middle, right side.
Tom Kakert, Hawkeye Report. Jordan, I think this was game 177 for you. What does this moment kind of mean? This is what you came back for, isn't it?
Yeah, just flashing back to all the other opportunities I've had to play at this level. From game 1 to 177, I've tried to do the most I can to represent this jersey and represent those that came before me. I met so much alumni, people that played here. I looked up to so many of these guys that played here before me, and I've continued to just try to live up to their name. I played with some phenomenal teammates. The guy that left to me is going to be a lottery pick. Luka Garza, Tyler Cook, Joe Wieskamp. You just go down the line of all the phenomenal teammates I've had, and that's what makes this year so much fun too, because we lost some of those guys last year, and we have a guy like Keegan step back up into the role, and I don't think he got enough acknowledgement for what he just did last game. He broke Luka Garza's single season record after how phenomenal and dominant Luka Garza was. He decided to break his record the next year after there wasn't a lot of hype around Keegan, and that just shows the type of person he is. He continued to put his head down and work, and that's what makes this group so special. We just have a lot of guys that just want to work and want to win.
We'll go all the way to the far left-hand side.
Hi, Jordan, over here. Scott Rice for KCCI. I still haven't heard yet. Did you think it was going in when it left your hand? And also, I'd like to hear Keegan's answer also. What was it like once it did finally go in?
It was great. I really didn't get a lot going honestly, through the game. I was just trying to play my game and wait for the game to come to me. Something my dad always would tell me when I was little. When things aren't going, don't try to force the issue. Just continue playing your game, and good things will always happen. And I was trying to find Keegan to get open for some shots, screening for him, doing what I can. That's why Connor's so great too. He doesn't force the issue. He continues to be a stability on the offensive end. So when I was able to get the ball late game, I felt confident that it was my time to kind of step up to the plate. And Keegan being Keegan, he's still crashing the glass. So I'm sure he's going to give an answer like that.
Yeah. For me, anytime Jordan shoots the ball, I think it's going to go in. So that shot was no different than a wide open shot that he'd take off a kick out. But no, I thought it was going to go in, just had to crash the glass just to make sure.
Right-hand side, second row.
Kennington Lloyd Smith III, Des Moines Register. Jordan, you said that Coach McCaffery was the only one who believed in you out of high school. This team didn't have a lot of believers before the season. How have you tried to instill that belief in your fellow teammates, and how did you see that play itself out today?
Yeah, it starts with Coach. He from day one, he knew obviously what we lost last year, but he also knew what we had in that locker room before we started that first game of the year. And I think his belief from day one, had us around the locker room, put our hands around each other and, kind of bring this team in one direction. And I mean, you're seeing we're all on the same page right now. We're all clicking. We got down 5, and Coach just continued to keep us calm and steady and keep playing our game. And that says a lot about him. He can let us play, let us get back. We got the lead. It went from 7 to 4, so quickly after that timeout he had and after everything he said. So, it's just so much fun this year. It's what I came back for. And, we still have a lot left, though.
In the middle, towards the back.
Keegan, you're 4th in this league in offensive rebounding behind 3 much bigger guys. You got a huge one with about 1:10 left. Jordan hits a 3 to put you guys up 4. A, how much pride do you take in that part of your game? And B, just how significant do you think that sequence was for you guys?
Yeah, for me, I think rebound is really just an effort thing. It doesn't really matter how tall you are, how short you are, how much you weigh, and anything like that. But it's really just an effort thing just to get to the glass. And we weren't getting many offensive rebounds early on in the game, but in crunch time, we had to get them. We didn't know if the shots were going to go in or not, but that was obviously a big sequence in the game, and just Jordan hitting his shot just was icing on the cake.
Front row right, Dustin.
Dustin DePierre, Bloomington Herald Times. I mean, Keegan, obviously after you hit a couple and really going into this game, you knew they were going to get a lot of attention. You were going to get a lot of attention. You still managed to get some clean looks. I guess just how did you manage to do that, whether it was movement without the ball, the screening, and just what all worked for you to get some shots without hands in your face?
Yeah, for me, their game plan was take away my drive, and I figured that out early on. So I tried to change the way I was playing. That was coming off screens with the 4 and the 5 man for them. So I tried to tell our teammates to start screening for me a little bit more, and they did that. They did a really good job of that. I was able to get open looks, and just credit to our guys that were screening for me. They were really big for us.
All right, 2 more. We'll take Mike in the right side, far back.
Mike Kolosk is at Cedar Rapids. Jordan.
Yeah, sorry. I just looked at it. I saw Keegan at 8 threes. I didn't. No one said anything about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's insane. 8 for 10. Wow.
You've got another game in less than 24 hours now, and you're playing for something you guys have never played for before. How do you get your minds and bodies right for this?
Same thing we've been doing. Keep the course, continue to put our head down and work. We have a short, obviously, prep like we have these last 3 games, but I know I'm not worried just because of the guys we have in that locker room. We like to have fun, but we're also, when game hits, that we're locked in no matter what happens, and that's shown all year long. There's not many games that we haven't fought from the beginning of the game to the end. No matter if we were down a lot or if we were up a lot, we continue to keep going, and we have some chance to do something special here, and everyone's aware of that. We want to bring something back to Iowa City that hasn't been done in a while.
Last one for the students, far back right corner.
Yeah, Jordan, John Sears, WHO-TV. Can you describe for the people out there that have never hit a game-winning shot just the adrenaline rush when you factor in the crowd against you, the stage? What's that adrenaline rush like to hit something like that?
Something that can't even be put into words. You dream about it as a little kid, throwing up shots in the backyard, throwing up shots at the local YMCA when you're a kid, and hoping one day you get to this stage and You know, I was running in circles. I didn't know where to go because I was so excited, you know, to be in that moment. You know, it's been so much fun. And what makes it more special is the group of guys that we have to celebrate with. You know, there's a lot of easy to root for guys on this team. You know, guys that just work really hard, know their role. And our bench has always been fantastic this year. You know, see everyone be happy for each other, even when you're getting subbed out, want the other guys to do well. You know, I think that's what's been separating us from these other teams.
All right, thank you guys. You can head back to the locker room. We'll continue with questions for Coach McCaffery. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll start on the right-hand side, second row.
Chad Leistico, Des Moines Register. Fran, we talked a lot about Jordan's late shot, but there were a lot of shots that led to that shot. I just kind of walk me through what you saw in that huddle, because you saw Perkins taking it to the rack. Patrick had a couple huge buckets in that stretch as well.
You know, we were running stuff, you know, for those guys. You know, you got to spread it. You know, at the end of the day, you know, Keegan and Jordan are going to be a big part of what we do. But we got to get Chris involved. We got to get Tony involved. Patrick, you know, Peyton Sanford, Joe Toussaint. I mean, we run stuff for those guys. They know they all have the green light to shoot the ball. And, you know, I thought, you know, Tony's end one, huge play in the game. You know, Patrick stretched there late in the second half. You know, when they were really chasing Jabo and they're really chasing Keegan, somebody's got to go make a play. Somebody's got to go finish a play. And his and one, and his left-handed runner. You know, but I thought, you know, pretty much to a man who I put in, you know, really performed at a very high level. Well, you know, some of them scored more than others, but they were all rock solid.
Back middle, Brendan.
Hey, Fran. Brendan Quinn with The Athletic. Can you go through what the original look was going to be on that play? And I don't know if you had a timeout, but did you almost use one? If you
almost used it, thought about it, and then he raised up. You know, he was supposed to get a shot in the corner. They jammed it up. Credit them for that. He kept coming. Connor hit him. So now he's in the open floor. You know, he's pretty good up there. And that's, you know, as a coach, you're like, take a timeout, don't take a timeout. You look up, and he just raised up and drilled it. As long as he's shooting it, I think, you know, it's probably better than anything I could have drawn up anyway.
We'll go to Jim in the front row right.
Jim Coyle, Indiana Sports Beat. Fran, there was a moment where you were in the Indiana huddle for a little bit. What was that about? What was going on with it?
Well, yeah, it seemed to be a conversation over there, and I was pretty sure that those guys were not advocating for the Hawkeyes. So I just wanted to include myself to see what the discussion was about. But it was amicable.
All right, we'll go to Tom in the second row on the right side.
Tom Kakert, Hawkeye Report. Fran, Jordan kind of talked about it a little bit. They weren't beating his door down. They weren't beating the Murray's door down. What does a moment like this mean to you in your program?
Well, you know, I think in so many ways, Tom, you know, these are Iowa kids. You know, I mean, you know, it's been written a million times. You know, Jordan's dad, Rose Bowl quarterback at Iowa. You know, and Kenyon was a McDonald's All-American who came to Iowa and met somebody and stayed in Iowa. You know, and I watched those kids grow up, all three of them. You know, and it's a proud moment as a coach to watch three Iowa kids excel the way that they have. But, you know, the amazing thing is just how they conduct themselves, how they carry themselves, the way they lead, the way they treat their teammates, the way they compete. And they take tremendous pride in wearing that jersey. And, you know, that's something that, you know, when I came here, you know, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood, you know, we have an amazing basketball tradition at our school, and anybody that puts that jersey on, you know, has a responsibility, like Jordan said, to represent those that came before, and those guys do it as well as anybody.
We'll go all the way on the far right side, third row.
Fran, Pat Hardy with Hawk Fanatic. When you're out recruiting, how much of an emphasis is three-point shooting when you're looking at prospects?
Well, you know, it's huge, and it, I think, has gotten even more pronounced. You know, we obviously are looking for shooters, but, you know, you're looking for athletes, you're looking for size. I mean, you might look to replace a position, but as we move to positionless basketball, you want your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We don't even use those terms anymore. You want everybody to shoot threes. And, you know, so everybody we're looking at, that is a big component of the evaluation process.
All the way in the far back right, Julian.
Julian Darnell, BTN. Coach, can you reflect for me this aspect? You remember the lean years with Iowa when you first started this program. What does it mean to you now that, 24 hours from now, you're going to be competing for a Big Ten championship? What does that mean to you as far as how far you've come with the program, with what you've tried to build here at Iowa?
Well, truthfully, I feel like it's my responsibility to do everything I can with my staff, with our administration, to build a winning program that can consistently win. I think that's the most important thing, and we've done that. Anybody that coaches in this league has unbelievable respect for every other team, because every other team is trying to do the same thing. We don't have in this league a have and a have-nots. We're not the top 5 teams are always the same top 5 teams, and everybody else, the bottom 4 teams, everybody beats them twice. It doesn't work that way in this league. So, we feel like we have a program that can win any night we take the floor, and we can come here and win any game that we play. But we're also respectful of our opponent and recognize that it could go the other way. So it's constant work. It's constant, meetings, preparation, whether it be recruiting or scouting or coaching or preparing practice, preparing a film session, and making sure that people know and understand who we are and what we try to do within this program. And the word that's thrown around all the time is culture. Well, that's what culture is. Everybody just throws that term out, but that's what it is. What kind of kids are you bringing in? How committed are they? You heard these guys talk about the locker room and how connected these guys are and how they love and support each other. It's not always like that. It's like, why is he playing and I'm not? These guys are like, whoever's out there, they're pulling for that guy and hugging that guy when he does something good. And if he doesn't, put their arms around him and try to help him and not criticize him. So that's what we've got. So I'm really proud that tomorrow we'll be able to represent the University of Iowa in the championship game.
Take 2 more for Coach on the right-hand side, second row.
Kennington Lloyd Smith III, Des Moines Register. Coach, this is a grueling tournament playing every day. Can you describe the challenge of preparing for a new team each day, and to Jordan's point, how locked in the team has been to get to this point?
You have to have a special group that knows and understands how to process a game plan. You think about it. Last Sunday we played Illinois on the road. They got Kofi. You got Frazier. Whatever challenges they present. Then you've got Northwestern. We played them before, but they were all sick. Now they're back. They just come off a win. We played Rutgers, who finished strong, presents a different set of challenges. And then, an Indiana team's playing as well as anybody in the country. And then tomorrow we'll play a great team, whoever that is. So it's incumbent upon your student athletes to be able to process a game plan, execute a game plan, and then turn around and do it less than 24 hours. So, our guys have been incredibly professional and diligent. They lock in, they read the report, they study it, they're aware. Whoever we play, we would have already played them, so they have familiarity with personnel and style. But we have to adjust, whoever it is.
Last question will come from Mike on the right side.
Fran, I want to ask you about Patrick. It seemed like yesterday and in the first half today, things weren't flowing for him. And then in the second half, from the get-go, looks like a different guy. What was that all about?
Well, I think one of the things that helped, Mike, I didn't go back to him yesterday. I kind of stayed with Connor and Peyton and Tony. I didn't give him a chance to go back in there, and I need to do that. He deserves that. He's earned that. So that's part of it. Missed a couple early. I don't think he was aggressive enough. I think he did have 4 points in the first half. Got a big tip dunk when we weren't offensive rebounding. They were offensive rebounding in the first half. We were not. So that was a big play, momentum play. But, I challenged him to be who he is. Affect the game the way that you can. Driving the ball, moving without the ball, running the floor. Use your length on defense. And he was special, and I'm proud of him.
All right, Coach. Thank you.